Yo, what up guys, it's your boy Rhythm, and today we're going to be talking all about my macros. Now you guys have requested this a lot, and I figured I might as well make a video explaining all of the macros that I'm currently using. So with that being said, let's get started. Now keep in mind about like 70% of my macros are going to be focus macros. Having focus as a rogue is really important, and if you do not use focus macros, I really stress that you need to, because you're able to keep as much uptime as you can on your primary target while doing your utility stuff that a rogue usually does. So my first macro is for BGs. It's really for like open world and stuff like that. It is a mouse over blind, and as you can see here, all you have to do is just mouse over somebody and it will blind when I click the macro. Next up is my focus blind. So like I said, another focus macro, and next up after that is going to be another focus macro. Now cheap shot is a really good ability to use. You use it a lot as a sub rogue, so keep in mind this is a really important macro. Next up for macros is going to be just a plain old slash focus. This is just so I can set my focus in case I'm not doing it somehow like an arena or something like that. My next macro is going to be focus shadow step. Now this is really important because you can do some really cool plays like setting up like focus shadow step kicks and focus shadow step kidney shots, and just in general just stuff like that. Next up, as a sub rogue, this new ability called Shadow Strike allows you, it's like a shadow step, so it allows you to teleport to your focus. So in case your shadow step is not up, this is another good way to kind of jump to your other target, your focus target, and maybe even focus kick him. Next up is going to be a macro I call heals. Now this macro, I just threw in everything I can to give me a health benefit. So I try to use my health stone, I use my crimson vial, and basically you want to throw anything into this that heals you. So next up we have a focus kick macro. Now this is really important because you're going to be using this macro a lot. I think one of my top 3 most used macros is this focus kick. This next one I'm going to talk about is the focus kidney shot, and also my focus cheap shot. Those are my 3 most used macros by far. I use those so much, and they definitely are very vital to being a rogue in general. So next up after that we have a power macro, and this is when I was playing around with Outlaw, so you can kind of ignore this. I kind of just threw everything I could, like Blood Fury, Killing Spree, and then just a little toy that I had, but I don't use that. I probably need to delete it, but just skip that for now. Next up I have 2 macros for sap. This one right here in general will allow you to sap a target without being able to see him. So you basically spam this when you're having a little stealth fight with another stealthy like a rogue or a feral druid, and you can't see him. You want to spam this macro as much as possible, and it will sap as soon as you see your target. Next up after that is obviously a focus macro for my sap. So this is really good for kind of like focus sapping somebody when I don't need to pay attention to him. Next up after that is going to be my Shadow Dance macro. Now I find this to be really important as well because I macro in, when I used to be an orc, Blood Fury, Shadow Dance, and I also cast Symbols of Death. Now this is really important because this gives you a 20% damage increase for 35 seconds, so it's really vital that you get this off. However, if you have this talent, this honor talent called Phantom Assassin, it automatically gives you Symbols of Death every time you enter stealth, so you don't need to macro it in there. It's kind of like a filler, but I do it just in case. So next up after that is a stealth macro. I use this primarily to get out of stealth get back out of combat as soon as possible so that I can enter stealth, and it also stops my attack, so that way I can try to enter stealth as fast as possible. It also casts Symbols of Death after that, like I said, just a filler. And then my last but not least macro is Vanish. Now this is really important because while you're in Vanish, or when you hit Vanish, you don't want to auto attack and knock yourself out right back out as soon as you hit Vanish. So it'd be really stupid to do that. So I add in a stop attack macro, and this is just to be safe, not to hit when you cast Vanish, and it also uses Symbols of Death. Once again, another filler. Now keep in mind there's probably tons of other macros you could use out there. This is just generally what I personally use right now at this current moment. If you guys have any kind of suggestions about any kind of like pro ass macros, please don't be afraid to say them down below in the comments. I'm interested in checking them out. Hopefully I didn't miss anything in this video, and hopefully this helped you guys out in some way. If it did, please be sure to hit that thumbs up button, guys, because I really do appreciate it. And I think that about sums up the rest of the video. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.